Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a book haul. Now, I didn't expect this book haul to include a large number of books. I thought there's gonna be a lot, but I didn't realize just how much books I need to haul. So these are all the books that I've gotten. Well, most of the books that I've gotten in 2020 so far. I should have done this months ago, but I didn't realize how much books I was getting this year. So part of that is because I'm subscribed to Book of the Month. And so Book of the Month, monthly, they have a selection of books that you can choose to have delivered to your house. And you can add on 2 books per month from their previous list. And for the past few months, I have been getting 3 books. I've skipped 2 months, but I still have, I'm still getting 3 books at least, at 3 books at most every month. So it's a lot of books to go through, and I'm also subscribed to Owl Crate. And of course, I have books that I buy on my own from different places. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So first, part of this book haul is going to be books that I got from Book of the Month. And these are in no particular order because if we're going to do that, we're going to take a long time. So let's get started. So the first book that we have is Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. This book I bought because it's kind of like a small town type of story where in a small town they are running an experimental medical treatment device called the Miracle Submarine. And I think one child dies there's something that happened in the submarine and it killed 2 people, and then it's chaos. So it sounded very interesting to me and I wanted to read it because I heard quite a few people talking about it, saying that it's a very important read as well. So my bookshelf is gonna look busy right now. I don't know where to put it. Just put it right here. So the next thing I have here is Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. I don't remember what this is about, but I got this from Book of the Month. So I'm not gonna be talking about all the books. Yes, I talk a lot, and so I don't wanna make this video any longer than it should be. So Things in Jar by Jess Kidd. The cover is beautiful. I think this is a fantasy or like a magical realism set kind of historical fiction thing. So the next book we have is Beasts of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth Emmy Lang. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and I know that I don't think this is a recent release, or maybe I'm thinking of a different book, but I know this is also kind of magical realism. In my head, I remember this as being kind of like Ava Lavender, that book. So I'm very interested to read this as well. Obviously, I haven't gotten into it. Okay, so the next book that I have is Bitch Read by Emily Henry. I think you guys know what this is about. These are about 2 authors of 2 different genres. They're neighbors for like a summer, and they decided to exchange genres because they're both having like writer's block. So one is a literary fiction writer and the other one is a romance writer. So they exchange, they fall in love, they have issues. I've heard mixed things about it. At first I was hearing really good things about it, but then I started hearing like mixed things about it. So I'm gonna go into that very cautiously. Alright, moving on. We have One to Watch by Katie Stayman London. I've already read this. You can see my tabs. I cried so much from this book. I didn't expect to cry so much from this book because I know this is mostly touted as a dramatic and romantic book because, we're following a character who goes into this show, Main Squeeze, which is the equivalent of The Bachelor / The Bachelorette, and she's a plus size influencer, and just her whole journey and her past and the way she talks about it and the way she is from her experiences from the past is so relatable to me. That's why I cried so much. So yeah, One to Watch. This is now one of my favorite books to read. I think this is a very important to read, especially for me personally, because I just felt so connected to her. Like, she knows me and I know her. Okay, the next one that we have is The Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. Now, this is one book that I was so interested in, because I grew up in a very Catholic country, in Catholic schools. Kind of felt like blasphemous, is that how you say it? Because here we're following the wife of Jesus, and she's, I think, telling the story of Jesus through her eyes as his wife. So at first that sounded so interesting to me, but then I kind of had to take a step back because like, wait, should I read this? Should I not? But ultimately I decided to get it because I really wanted to read this. So like a historical fiction take to, just a story. Alright, the next book that we have is The Library of Legends by Jamie Chang. Now this is set in China 1937, and we're following our main character Hu Lian, who goes with her whole school to travel to a safer place during the war. And with them, they're traveling with the Library of Legends, which is one of the most important literary series in terms of like their history and their culture. So they're taking care of that as they travel across China during this war, and she encounters and discovers this secret world of, you know, gods and goddesses and mythological creatures. And I really enjoyed reading this. I really did. Like, it felt, even though it was set in war, the addition of the fantasy creatures gave it a more mystical feel to it. And even though, yes, there are deaths and, you know, there are bombings, it didn't feel very tense and scary, as it should usually for like historical fiction set in wars, set during wars. We really just focus on her travel as she, you know, tries to look for her mother as well, and, you know, the relationships that she formed along the way, and some political stuff as well, but mostly just this secret world that she discovers and what it means for her to see the secret world. So I really enjoyed this book. Okay, the next book is Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I don't remember a lot about this, but I think there's like a murder in like a motel, or something happened in the motel. This is set in 1982 and then 2017, so feels kind of like the Unsolved case, I think, like Unsolved, BuzzFeed Unsolved kind of type to me. So I was very interested. I love mystery thriller type books, but I also have like mixed feelings about them because most of the time I can like already guess what's gonna happen, or if the twist doesn't really make sense to me, etc. Alright, the next one we have is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This is also have been going around BookTube for a while now, and essentially this is like Stranded, or like, what's that movie with, I even forgot his name, Leonardo DiCaprio, where they're in an island and people started dying. It's kind of like this. They're in an island for a wedding and people started dying and they're trying to figure out who's killing who. And I think, yeah, there's mixed reviews on this. I'm still very interested in this, and this is very short, just over 300 pages, so really want to read that too. Okay, so the next one that we have is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is a memoir, I believe, and I don't really remember what this is about, but I remember being very interested in it and wanting to read this, so I'm gonna have to like remind myself what this is about. I really enjoy memoirs, I find, but again, it's kind of like mystery books for me in that it's a little mixed. It depends on, you know, what the point of the memoir is and how it's written. So we'll see. I think this is gonna be a good one because I've heard some good things about it. Okay, the next one that we have is What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker, a memoir and essays by Damon Young. This is part of my personal education towards, you know, the Black lives here in the US, because I haven't lived here long. I've only been here for 2 years, and this is an issue that I feel very strongly about. So, and that we should all feel very strongly about. So I haven't read this. Again, it's a memoir and essays. I'm very excited to see how I'm going to like this because I haven't read a book in this form, like a compilation of essays. So very interested to see how that's gonna work out for me. Okay, the next book is Big Friendship, How We Keep Each Other Close. So this is a book that I wasn't sure I wanted to get. This is nonfiction as well. This is pretty short, and this is about friendship and how to keep friendships and how, you know, friendships develop and how they fall apart, I guess. But yeah, I think I heard a few good things about it. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll buy it. This is only like 200 pages. Yeah, just 200 pages. So I'm very interested. Okay, the next one that we have is Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. I think this is pretty popular. I feel like a lot of people talked about it. I really enjoyed this. I cried so much. One thing that people have said about this is that they cared more about the patients rather than the actual therapist's story, which I kind of relate. I do really care about the patients more than her personal change, but I feel like her personal struggles are related to her patients. That's why she chose to tell these patients' stories, and I can see her grow behind or alongside her patients. So I really enjoyed this. I cried so much, especially in the last half or third of the book. Highly recommend it. It really gives you an insight on maybe some stuff that you need to do for yourself as well. Alright, the next book that I have is Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. I don't know what this is about. The only reason why I bought this is because this is Olive's favorite book of all time. She reads this every year, and she says every year she gets a new thing from this, and I'm just like, I wanna read it too because it sounds so interesting. So Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. Haven't read it, but wanna. So we're gonna continue with our book of the month books, except it's gonna be a little bit of an unboxing. Did I open this already? Or do I need my... Yeah, I opened this already. This is my... It doesn't say. Of course it doesn't say. Why would I think that it says anything? But I think this is my September book of the month. We first have Ta-Nehisi quotes The Water Dancer. I've heard a lot of people talk about this and mention this, and I think this is a very powerful story about a black young boy and his father, and they go through a journey, and I'm very interested in reading this because I know that this is award-winning, and at first I was scared because this is pretty thick, as you can see. I think this is 400 pages. Oh no, hold on, 392 pages. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a very emotional read in terms of like family and growing up black, and their experiences as they move across the country, I think. So yeah, very interested in reading that. Okay, next book is Normal People by Sally Rooney. This is a romance story. All I really know about this, I think there was a movie or like a mini series for this, and I've heard a lot of people really like this, so I want to read it as well. 300 pages. Also, I really like the line art faces. So I've heard about this before. I didn't really think much about it. I was like, oh, okay, because around that time I wasn't really into like literary fiction or romance. Not really. Now I'm slowly, incorporating it into my reads because I enjoyed, like, what book was it? Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. So in my head I kind of like the same thing. I don't know why. Maybe because they both got into like a Hulu adaptation. I don't know. Okay, the next one is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I read her book The Nightingale and I sobbed. I cried so much, and that's another book that's gonna be like in one of my top favorite books of all time. And so I decided to get this. I wasn't really sure about getting this because I've heard mixed things about this, and it's pretty long. I think we're following a girl who gets accused of murder because she's the town kind of weirdo, I would say, but she's very separate from the rest of the towns, the rest of her small town. So a lot of people think that because she's eccentric, she's the main suspect for the murder, and I think this is set in Canada or Alaska. Yeah, it's set in Alaska. I'm very interested in reading this. I want to get frustrated over these people who judges her for being eccentric. Alright, the next one that we have here is, this is my previous month's box, I believe. It's pretty heavy. Did I get thick books here? See, I immediately don't remember already. Okay. Oh, yes. Remember this. Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. This has been going around BookTube a lot. A lot of people have been enjoying this. A lot of people have been loving it. So I decided to pick this up. I mean, around the time that I picked it up, I was already like interested in it because I think it's a space drama, I think. Or like it's sci-fi, and there's multiverse, and it's really good. I'm very excited about it. I feel like from what I've gotten from other people is that it's very action-packed, but there's a really good romance in here too. Plus the world is amazing because multiverse. And yeah, it says here, my mother used to say I was born reaching, which is true. She also used to say it would get me killed, which it hasn't, not yet anyway. Interesting, right? So much fun. So very excited about it. The next one that I have is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This book is about two sisters who grew up in this community where they're black, but they're very into having children or growing up lighter skinned. They have a very high emphasis on that. And so one of the sisters grow up, I think they're both white passing, and then one of the sisters grow up and hides her identity as an actual black person and decides to live her life as a white woman. And she's married, she's pregnant, and so she's worrying about if her kid's gonna have dark skin, and she's gonna have to it's gonna turn her world upside down. And then the other sister is struggling with her own personal life, I think. I don't really remember, but a lot of people have been talking about this and a lot of people have been really enjoying it, and so I'm very excited about this because I feel like it will explore more about their experience as black and in a culture where they grew up where they have the lightness of their skin is revered, kind of thing. So very interested in that. Okay, so the next book that I have here is Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. This is the second copy that I have. I think this one I'm going to give to my library or like sell it somewhere because I already have another copy and I actually prefer that copy, although this cover is very beautiful. But I received this in owl crate as well. So yeah, we're following our main character whose mother is a star, so she's half star, and one day she hits her father accidentally with her powers, and she now has to go to the skies to enlist the help of a star to help her heal her father. But in exchange for that, she becomes like their champion for this tournament that they have. And yeah, I'm very excited for this. It sounds so amazing. I think this is the first book in a series. I think The Space Between Worlds is also the first book in a series. But yeah, I'm very excited. Especially that design and the stars and celestial stuff I find very interesting. Alright, so those are all the books I got from Book of the Month for this year so far. And we'll move on to the books that I got from other book boxes. So I'll be back. I'm just gonna put this up. Alright, I'll create books. Let's start. So the first book that I actually have this in order. Don't ask me how what happened. But the first one for January 2020 is Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. I don't know what this is about. Is it about stars and steampunk type of novel? I don't know. But Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. The next one, All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I think this is a mermaid, a dark mermaid story with like princesses and politics, and I think this is like they actually kill princess or like guys for real. So yeah, this is pretty dark. A lot of these books are like first books in a series, so I'm a little about them because I prefer that my series or my books, the books that are in a series, I already know like a general kind of idea what the story is about, but also like the general ratings for people, and to have all the books out instead of just having the first book and me not liking it and be like, oh, that's a waste of money. But that's from Owl Crate. The next book is Kingdom of Back by Maria Lu. I really enjoyed this. We are following Nannerl, Mozart's sister, and also Mozart as they discover this Kingdom of Back, the world that they made up. It turns out to be real, and they go into an adventure, and we follow Nannerl as well as she grows up and discovers, or you know, as she grows up and have her dream shattered because she's a woman and she's not allowed to be performing and playing the piano and composing because by the age of 18 or so she needs to get married. So I really enjoy this. At first I didn't really like her character because she keeps saying this one thing at the beginning. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I get it. You don't have to say it every 20 pages. I understand it. We know. And so yeah, I know in the beginning I didn't really like enjoy her character, but as the story progressed and as she grew, and as well as her relationship with Mozart, with like Wolfgang, the other Mozart, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I think I put this here. Not sure. I'm gonna have to rearrange my shelves after this. Alright, the next book is Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy, and this is about, I think, witches and a witch hunter. So the witch is in their kind of culture, there's this Bone Crier's Moon where they play a song or they sing or something like that, and their true love, their soulmate, gets like attracted to them, or like, they summon their soulmate. And within a year, they have to kill their soulmate. And he's a witch hunter because I think his dad got killed by one of her people. And, it's a love story, but also very interested. And it has gold edges. I think, again, this is the first book in a series. So again, I don't know, The next book is Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. I don't know what this is about. This is a big and heavy book about fires and fantasy political system. I really enjoy the cover. I think this is also a first book in a series. I don't know why this is so heavy. I didn't realize how heavy it was. It's almost 450 pages, but yeah, Incendiary. And then the last one that we have is Where Dreams Descend. Ooh. Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles. I didn't realize that this author is Filipino. I found out like a few weeks ago. I was like, oh, what? And again, this is the first book in a series. This book, specifically like this version, doesn't have a desk jacket. It's literally just a hardcover with like the print on it, which I actually really like. I prefer covers like this. I don't know, because the desk jacket just gets in the way. I take it off when I have to read the book and then put it back on and I put it back on the shelf. It's like, why do I need it anyway? Have this. I mean, it's a just jacket, but like, still, Anyway, this is signed. And I think this is only a duology, which is thank God it is. And I think the second one's coming out pretty soon. So I'm very excited. I think this has a Phantom of the Opera type story. It's fantasy. It's written by a Filipino author. I don't know how much of the culture is going to be in here, but I'm very interested. And the cover, I really prefer that kind of cover. Alright, so the next book that I have here is, I think this is from LitJoy. Great. This is called Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. This is very interesting because we're following our character who wakes up from a cryonic sleep like 200 years later, I think, or like 300 years later. And when she wakes up, the people that are, the people in this planet revere her as a goddess. And she's like, okay. Because she wants to discover what happened and why she, woke up at this time like hundreds of years later. And so she just goes along with it so that she can discover what happened to her. And I guess to other people that were in who were chronically in cryonic sleep like her. I cannot talk. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can because it's gonna be very long. Alright, I have the Owl Crate August box right here. I already opened it. I already know what's inside. But I'm saving it because I want to participate in the challenge. So I still have the book here and all the items in here, but I already done a book haul on this. So this is, if I could take it out. So this is a copy of my other copy of The Star Daughter that I'm actually going to keep. So it's purple and silver and it's very shiny. It's signed and it has purple sprayed edges. So, and then I have LitJoy's, I think it's LitJoy August, I think, as well. So we have the book. If I could find it. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I actually also did an unboxing of this. I don't think I've edited it yet, but I did an unboxing of this and I really enjoyed what's inside. But okay, so they usually come in boxes in bags like this for each month, and the book is Set Fire to the Gods. This is the first book in a series, I think, and yeah, it's fantasy. I love fantasy, so, and powers. I think there's like elements in here, just like Atla. That's why one of the items is an Atla box. So that's for the LitJoy month. Oh my god. Alright, well, so all the books, those are all of the books that I've gotten from other subscription boxes. Now we're gonna move on to books that I bought on my own. Let's go. Okay, moving on to the books that I got on my own. Now, this is no particular order. Honestly, don't really remember when I bought them, but let's start with these pile, like right here. Okay, so the first book here is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I've heard recently, so a lot of people talk about different Alice Oseman books, and I know this has been going around for a while now. Like, a lot of people have talked about Alice Oseman before, specifically Radio Silence as well. So yeah, I think it's kind of like Sadie, where there's a podcast and a missing sister. It's kind of like that too, but I'm very excited to read this, and yeah, Alice Oseman. Okay, the next one is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have read this and I really enjoyed this, and I need to read the rest of her books. I have all of her other books that she has released, With a Fire on High, and there's another one. Why can't I remember it? There's another one that I bought. It's somewhere here, I think. With a Fire on High. There's another one. Oh, Clap When You Land. I have it right here. I'm gonna hold it somewhere here. Okay, so the next book that I have here is Star of the Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I didn't really enjoy this. I tried to read this audiobook form. I was so lost. I decided to buy the physical book because, you know, I thought that might help me better. It kind of did, but at the end of the day, I was very confused with what's happening, and I'm not really sure what the main problem was, really. So that's sad because a lot of people liked it, but I also heard a lot of people didn't really enjoy it. Next book that I have is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, another book that has been making its round in BookTube. This is about Chloe Brown, who after a scare, almost dying, she decides to get a life and decide to do everything that she's been afraid to do, and in the process she falls in love. And I've heard that the main character and the male lead is also very, like, both amazing human beings, so I'm very interested in reading that. Okay, the next book that I have from Alice Oseman is Love Letters. I think her latest release, and oh my gosh, I forgot her name and her BookTube channel, but I watched it yesterday, and she was talking about how there's the way that the main character sees relationship is very similar to how she feels, and she just felt so seen. And the way she talks about it, I kind of feel like I'm gonna relate a lot to this book as well. So I think a lot of people are talking about that this is an asexual representation, but I've also heard that it's not really an ace representation. Like, it's not a very good one, or it's not like a all-encompassing kind of thing representation. So I'm gonna go into this very carefully and do my research as I go. Yeah, the next book that I have is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.A. Klune. I got this actually used, and I don't know who sold this and why it's used. It's kind of, I think it got wet a little bit because it's like not flat completely, but the pages itself are pristine. The cover is a little kind of like it did dry out or something like that, but this is mainly because of Elias and Reagan from Bruce Project. They've talked about this. Elias did a vlog and he was crying, and from a lot of people that have read this and have talked about this, they said just the whole story is like wholesome and lovely and so relatable in terms of, you know, how they view themselves as, one of the characters I think view themselves as not worthy of love or not ever gonna find love, and I think I'm gonna cry a lot here too and feel the same way kinda too, so I'm very excited to read this. And it sounds like there's a found family aspect of this, which I love and I'm soft for, and I know I'm gonna cry for. So the next one that I have is Cold Snap, Yuki Shirogane and the Winter Diamond Chronicles by Maki Santiago. This is Maki Santiago's book from Alex Love Books channel, and I heard about this. I don't read a lot of, I thought this was going to be a graphic novel, but it is an actual, like, novel, and I'm very excited to read this. This is a space drama, I think, and yeah, I'm very excited to read this. I feel like this is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, the next one that we have is I almost put it upside down. The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. Noria from Noria Rees loved this book and she was raving about it. I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna buy it because I've been thinking, should I buy it? Should I just borrow it from the library? I don't know. But then she raved about it and I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. And here we are. It's so beautiful. Look at all that color and like I forgot the effect of it, but are those tentacles? That's the first time I've seen that. There's like a clear, there are tentacles. So I think here we are in an alternate universe where the cities are actually living beings. It has Neil Gaiman's blurb, a glorious fantasy. So very excited to read this. Sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun. And that's a very interesting premise. N.K. Jemisin has very interesting premises, to tell you. Like, I've read her Broken Earth trilogy. The whole world and the whole premise was really amazing. So I'm very excited to read this. Alright, let's move to this pile right here. So I have here The Uninhabitable Earth, a story of the future by David Wallace Wells. And I think one like review that I heard about this that really made me buy this is that the reviewer said that this is going to scare you. This is going to make you anxious and aware that our world is very close to getting destroyed because of all the things that we're doing as human beings and destroying. I feel like that's a book that I want to read because I have like watched documentaries and read some articles about just how damaged our earth really is, and I feel like I want to read this book and highlight stuff and spout it anywhere I can so that I can spread awareness and scare people, because we need to really start doing something to take care of our earth, because guess who's gonna lose their homes? We are. So next, Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Thinking by Suzanne Cain. I'm an introvert and I've always felt so misunderstood because I just don't enjoy the same things that a lot of my friends do, because they're not introverts like me and they like going out, they like spending time with each other, and I do like spending time with my people, but it's just that it's draining to me and I have to be prepared for it, and I have to mentally be ready and as well as understand who the people are going to be, what we're going to do, so that I can prepare myself. That's why it's really hard for me to hang out with my friends, because a lot of them will like going out and like have some drinks, and I don't drink. I don't like going to bars. I don't like the smell of cigarettes. It gives me a headache, and they like doing that, and there's nothing against for me for that. Like, enjoy yourselves, but I know I'm not going to enjoy myself, and I usually decline because I know I'm going to not enjoy myself. I'm just going to be that one person in the group who's, making it worse for everybody or making it bad for people here who just want to have fun, and I don't want to be that person. So yeah, when I finally realized what an introvert is and accepted that, I'm just kind of like, I felt much more at peace with who I am, and I feel like a lot of my friends understood a little bit more. I didn't feel like I was being the negative one in my group of friends anymore, because now I kind of understand this is what I need, this is who I am, and I'm not going to change that, and it's not going to change. And if I'm uncomfortable, I'm not going to force myself to do things, because it's going to be bad for me and bad for you as well, because I'm not going to be good company. Anyway, rant over. Next one that I have is White Rage by Carol Anderson, another one of my books of to educate myself in the Black Lives Matter movement and the lives of Black people here in America. And I think this is usually mentioned in tandem with White Fragility, but I've heard that White Fragility isn't as good as this one. This one is better, so I decided to just buy this one and try to see if I could borrow it from the library, like White Fragility. I think it's more for white people, but I feel like I need to read this because I live in America where white people mostly are. So yeah, I need to get to this. But I know this is going to be very heavy and I need to get my notes apps and my highlighter out. I don't know if I'm going to highlight it, but I probably should. Okay, the next one that I have here is Skipping the Love You Find, Personal Guide by Harville Hendrix. I heard this from Alanis Morissette, and she said that every person that she's recommended this to and read this has found like a husband or a wife and has found their partners. And I was like, what? Really? This is a matchmaking book? Okay, well, let me buy that. It's kind of sad, but yeah, I was very interested in this because I don't know, I haven't ever been in a relationship, so I don't know if this is the right book for me, but I want to try to read it and see what I can get from it. And I don't know why that tag is right in front of that, but this is a used copy. Also very interested in reading that, very excited. Okay, the next one that I have is Stamped from the Beginning by Ibrahim X. Kendi. I know that there's a version for like younger teens, like Stamped by with Jason Reynolds, and I don't know if I should buy that or should I just continue reading this, but I will try to read this and see if I need that one first, then I'll get it. But yeah, I think, yeah, this says the definitive history of racist ideas in America. So I feel like I also need this because, again, history, racist ideas, so very interested. I have more. Oh, right here. Okay, so I have Witchy by Ariel Salamet Riaz. I think this is in one. Oh, I don't know if this is from this year, but this is from an Owl Crate box as well. And I really enjoyed this. There's so much culture in this from different parts of the world, even Filipino culture, which shook me. I didn't expect it. And I actually really enjoy this. Usually, graphic novels I find a little bit too fast and a little bit too lacking because they're graphic novels. There's not a lot of, stuff that you can put in it, unlike novels. But here, I actually really enjoyed, like, the characters, the plot. They felt so more rounded and, like, more full compared to other graphic novels that I've read. I enjoy those, but it didn't feel as much as this, where characters feel like they feel real. They feel like they're more than 2D. So yeah, the story we're following, I forgot her name. We're following the character who lives in this country, city, where the length of their hair defines how powerful they are. And her father actually gets killed because father's hair was too long. And when your hair is too long, you're seen as a threat. So they kill you. So even if there's a certain amount of hair length that you can have to be considered powerful but not a threat. I really enjoyed this. I love the friendships. I love it. Okay, so the next one that I have, suggested reading by Dave Connis. As you can see, I have a lot of tabs. I love this book so much. Another one of books that I read this year that is gonna be in my top favorite books of all time because it's so good. We're following a character who is in love with books. She loves books, and the way she loves books is very similar to the way that I love books. And then she starts her senior year and she discovers that there's a list of banned books that their new principal reenacted, and it's like, what? No. Which I totally get. And we follow her through that journey as she graduates, as she tries to get into the scholarship, etc. I really enjoyed this. It was a wild ride. I thought I was gonna, be sad with the ending, but it turned its head around and showed me that. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book. If you haven't read this, heard about this, read this. Just read the first, 20, 30 pages. You're gonna understand how much I love Claire, because the love for books that she has is very similar to mine. And I feel like it's gonna be similar to a lot of people. So read this, read it. Okay. The next one that I have is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is her latest release, and in here we're following two half-sisters who didn't know they were half-sisters until their father dies from a plane crash that uncovers their relationship, but also uncovers the relationships that are very similar to theirs. So the plane crash is actually based on a true plane crash. It happened close to 9/11, so a lot of people didn't really think much about it because they were still reeling from 9/11, and so not a lot of media coverage was given to it. But one part of it is that there were people who had two families from that flight, and they all got uncovered. And so we're following them as they discover who their father is and the families that they didn't know about. So I think this is also told in verse, just like the Poetics. Her other book, With a Fire on High, isn't told in verse, but that one is also very interesting because we're following a single mother who had to stop going to school when she gets pregnant, and she wants to be a chef and start her restaurant, and she tries to reach for that dream a few years after. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but yeah. And we have Kim Ji-young, born 1982, by Cho Nam-ju. I've heard about this from a lot of people, and I'm very interested in reading this. I know this is frustrating. I've heard a lot of people say that this is what it was, or how it was before, and it's very frustrating to read now because the amount of just sexism back then is unbelievable. So I even know, like, Irene from Red Velvet was seen reading this book, and she faced backlash from it because it's a feminist book. So even now in Korea, feminism is a very controversial topic. So yeah, this Kim Ji-young, born 1982. I know there was a movie with like Gong Yoo as the husband, and I know the husband is, so I don't know if I want to watch that and see Gong Yoo in that role, but I know he's a good actor, so I definitely should, right? Anyway, so the next few books that we're gonna be talking about are books that I recently got and recently received in the mail. I have a few books. I have another book haul that I'm gonna be doing in a separate video for a different series that I'm gonna be doing on this channel as well, so watch out for that. Anyway, let's start, shall we? I still have a few books coming in from this sort of order, but I need to do this now and just do that one in my end of the year book haul if I'm gonna do it, so let's get started. Now, these books I ordered from Blackwolves because I recently found out from Seji, the Artisan Geek, that Book Depository and Goodreads are both owned by Amazon. So now I'm starting to move my stuff to the Storygraph, which is the soon-to-be alternative to Goodreads. And so far, I'm really enjoying the app, the website. They're still developing it, but you can now use it, and I have gotten a lot of new books from there that I have never heard of but it sounds so amazing from like a book like recommendation list that they have called Ordered for You, because in the beginning, before you start your account, or as you start your account, you're going to be asked what types of book you like. And when you review a book, they have like different lists of, you know, what the book is like. Is it challenging? Is it fast paced? Is it medium paced? Is it tense? Is it sad? Is it reflective, etc.? So you can just check it, and you don't necessarily have to leave a review, or, you know. So I feel like it just makes it easier to express yourself when you have those prompts where, oh, is it this one? Yeah. Is it this one? Yeah. There's even like, are the characters diverse? Is the main character's growth is like the main part, the main goal of the story, etc. So I'm really enjoying it so far. And they don't have specific stars. They have a star rating 1 to 5, and you can choose anywhere, anything. You don't have choices. You just type it in. So if you have 0.5 and like 0.75, just type it in, and they're going to just add that. Which anyway. Blackwell's also is kind of like Book Depository, that they send you books one at a time, which was kind of scary to me. And I know it is also free shipping, by the way, in the US. I don't know about every other place, but so far in from my orders, I haven't been asked for shipping, and they come in about 2 to 3 weeks. And let's get started, shall we? Okay, so the first one right here is The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. And they also have a bookmark that I actually really like. Look at that. It's simple, but it's pretty. It's pretty art. So that's the first book that we have. And then we have, told you, it's kind of like a sport depository where they send you the books one at a time. Same bookmark, which honestly is just, it's it's very pretty. So I'm not really mad. It's the same bookmark. City of Brass. And then we have A Darker Shade of Magic, the bookmark. Also, I bought A Gathering of Shadows from there as well. This one arrived a lot earlier than this one, the rest of them. So the next book that we have, and this is the last one for today that I have, we have, and they came at the same time. I don't know how that worked, but I guess, you know. The Toll by Neil Schusterman. So now I have all of it, and now I can start reading it. So I have Sky, Thunderhead, and the Oh no! I got a different edition? I didn't realize it. I thought... No. I don't like that. No! I like this one. It's taller, and it has... Oh man, I thought they were the same. I just looked at the cover, and I thought they were the same editions. Oh gosh, I thought they were gonna be the same. Whatever, I'm not gonna give it back because of that. I like my covers to match. Okay, and the last one in here is The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. So now I have the complete series of Cheese of London. I've had this one since last year. I think this is the last book, right? And then, oh gosh, then I have Empire of Gold, City of Brass, and wait. Oh! They're different editions? Are you kidding me? I made sure that their sizes are the same. But they're not. So I'm very sad. I don't know what happened. They're both from Harper Voyager, so why are they different editions? I didn't realize it because I just opened it. I was just looking at it like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do an unboxing. I'm sad. It's the last book that's different. Why? Why is that? Why? I want them to match. I'm the type of person who likes her books to match. Oh my gosh. Are they gonna be available in this edition? Is the last book gonna be available in that edition? Or am I gonna have to wait months? I mean, it's fine. I mean, this was released 3 years ago. I can wait for a few more months. And the Toll as well. I mean, the Toll is not so bad. It's not that much of a difference. But these are just a little too much. This one, definitely, I need to do something about. I'm tired. This is definitely not all of the books that I've gotten this year, because I definitely have a lot more that I probably forgot. A few more coming in. Oh, yeah. I also have Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Intuitive Eating. This is the latest edition. I also have the Intuitive Eating workbook. So those are the last books here, I think, that I've bought for this book haul. 2020. I have a few more coming in. I definitely have to rearrange my bookshelves again. Third time in the last 3 weeks. So like every week I'm changing it because I have a lot of books and I have like 2 more coming in. No, 5 more coming in the next 2 weeks or so. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very tired. I'm like drained. My head hurts. I haven't eaten breakfast. It's 11:30. I haven't eaten anything. But yeah, I'm tired. I'm set at multiple times. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know it's gonna be very long and I will see you on my next one. Bye.